Hello, Barry.
Hello.
How come that you are in Ukraine?
I used to tell my students who would ask me that question, why did you come to Ukraine? And I would tell them, because I'm a New York lawyer. And all lawyers go to hell. And I wanted practice. So,
Awesome!
but I didn't believe that Putin, the devil, was going to come. Seriously, I've lived in other countries. I came here for a client.
For clients?
For a client, yes. Anyways, I came here, I fell in love with the sense of change that was in the air at the time. This was probably when you were very small. Kuchma was still...
20 years ago, yes?
Yeah,
2003.
I had a girlfriend here. And
your girlfriend was from Chernihiv or from Ukraine?
From Chernihiv.
From Chernihiv.
Yes.
That's why are you here in Chernihiv?
Now you got it, yes.
Ah,
because she is an only child, and her parents approved. I have no idea why, but they didn't want her to leave, and they said, if there are children, please, we want to see. So, and I just stayed here, and I fell in love with Chernihiv compared to Kiev.
You moved to Chernihiv, yes?
Yes, and then I was commuting to teach. After a 5-year absence from teaching at Kyiv-Mohyla, which was an honor and a privilege.
Did you hear any rumors about war?
I knew the war was coming. I didn't have to hear rumors. You can ask my students, people. I have a personal assistant who helps me. I had her start shopping for things, and she thought I was totally crazy. I said, look, there's going to be war. I started preparing my podval. It was when Russia had its troops in Belarusia, its fleet down, it announced nuclear boom, and I realized that was just to scare the West. And I was watching for just one thing. Would Russian troops leave at the end of the exercises with Belarusia? And when Putin announced that they were going to be extending it, that was it. He's coming. And he's coming to Чернігів. And he's not just going for the coast. You have to be an idiot not to have seen it. I think most people just in denial, which I can understand, because Putin's been playing games like this for a long time. Well, people didn't want to believe it, especially the older people. So yes, I had a warning.
What was your plan for emergency? You said that you did shopping, prepare podval.
Well, I started writing it down. What were the alternatives? I had to decide whether, all right, maybe I should take, I have a 7-year-old, so I didn't want her to be exposed to this or to risk it. So I had to decide, should she go with me? Should she go with her mother? I thought it was better for her to go with her mother. What kind of neighbor? She lives down the street, or did. Yeah, I made plans. My plan, I made a decision early on. I was going to stay.
Why? Why didn't you evacuate?
Well, one, I love the city. I mean, I really do. This is, Kiev has nothing on Chernihiv.
Same here, same here.
Nothing.
Understand you totally.
Good. Because a lot of people in Chernihiv, especially young people, want to get out and go to Kiev. But I love the city. This is the home I made. This is my home. Also, I'd be a hypocrite. I was telling my students for years about the developing of patriotism and of a Ukrainian identity and all of this garbage, encouraging them. And I'm just going to run away? Because that was their attitude back then. Well, it's easy for you to say, you can go back to New York. And of course they were right. The other thing is, look, I'm old. I'm not a kid anymore. This may sound strange, but it was an experience. And at my age, you don't get very many new ones. Although I wouldn't have picked this one.
Yes, said about Ukrainian identity. What is it for you?
Oh, it's just being, Ukraine has just become and becoming self-aware. Okay, I kind of look at 2004 as impregnation. The revolution of dignity was birth, and now is self-awareness. Ukrainians will have to define that. I don't put people in boxes. They're going to have to work on it. A lot of people here. Look, I can talk for hours because I think for too long. Get my daughter out of here. Finish my shopping list. It was too late. I couldn't get things I should have gotten. But, and we'll see, we shall see what we shall say. But I kind of expected it. What I didn't expect, and it's amazed not just me, but the whole world, is how well we stood up Chernihiv and the soldiers here, how well they held off the army. They screwed his plans completely. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Did you have any panic?
Well, when the bomb, you probably noticed there's a big bomb crater out there. Yeah, part of my podval started falling on me. I was with a friend, by the way, who got trapped here in Chernihiv from Kiev. Yeah, she has an apartment here. She likes it, but so she ended up with me until she could get out with her 2 cats. No, I didn't have any kind of panic because I never thought anything was really going to happen to me. Do you understand?
Yes,
and if it
you're
did,
very
stupid.
self-aware. No.
Well, it's, yes.
I don't call it for
Well, someone told me
stupidness.
you're very brave. When a person asks, I'm not, either that or I'm crazy. And I chose to live in Ukraine, so obviously I'm crazy. Go ahead.
Maybe it's your intuition that told you, Barry, you will be safe.
No, I don't think so.
Not
no,
intuition.
I think just
Your
just
mind.
stubbornness.
Your mind.
I wasn't going to get out. I wasn't going to give, and that's one more war crime for them to commit if they kill me. So I didn't expect to die, and I didn't. If it happened, it happened. You know, how many people died trying to get out of here?
Yeah, there are a lot of. It's like a Russian roulette. Russian roulette. You stay here, you may die. You evacuate, you may die.
Just no, and at my age, I could just die. I don't even need Putin's help. So, and that's a factor too. But I wanted to also to watch after the apartment. I had this weird feeling that if I wasn't here, this apartment would be destroyed or looted, and I just wanted to keep. It's my daughter's place. This will be hers.
So.
And I just had that feeling that you got to stay there. You got to take care of it. And there was nobody to take care of her grandmother and great aunt. Although I haven't been there as often as I should be.
When the first shelling happened, where were you? The first shelling that was really loud and you feel it.
I don't know. I only remember that bomb and that was in the early days. That was like the 3rd day, I think. I heard firing, shelling, but not landing shelling. I heard Oz firing at them, and that was actually comforting. So somebody's protecting the city. That was comforting to me. A little bit scary sometimes when it was close. But it's not just me. After a few days, if you were standing in line here, and everyone's phone went off with the alarm, everybody looked to see if someone would hurry up and leave so they would get in the store faster. So nobody ran, nobody left. They ignored it, even after the breadline incident. I think it's the way our brain compensates or protects us.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
Let's talk about your safe place. Where you during the shelling and bombing, and why did you pick that particular place?
that particular place is straight down from there, right underneath. So it was convenient.
Well, actually we're going to підвалі. It's shelter during the war. And let's see how Barry managed his daily life there.
Mine. This is mine, yes.
Yours.
Yes. You understand how old that is?
Yes.
Okay. I will go. You'll see over here, I would come, light a candle. So everywhere we had candles and matches, because here there's no light. Doesn't work. This is
It doesn't work from very beginning, yes? Or
No, it went off.
went off.
You'll see these everywhere. You see it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's for protection.
It was one of the men who was here in the beginning. He went around, let's see, everywhere, putting pieces of wood. Now, what's impressive is that he's expecting Russian soldiers with machine guns, and he wants to hit them with a piece of wood.
Yes.
What's important is he wanted to fight
Yeah.
and to protect his family. So, I actually can travel here without, the lights over here work.
Voila.
All right.
The real light.
This is a podval. Here's some of my water, and that was water that was given to me.
Water
Yeah,
again.
lots of water. That's and this is my podval. It was not so difficult. There, that's the refrigerator, because that was the coldest part of the place, and lights. He was in my podval, so I kept him. That's following the light. Get the hell out of him. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay. I had everything down here. E-cigarettes, recharges, everything, and it works still. So, when I was growing
Even
up,
soda.
yeah, I told you about a lot of soda. I've already brought a lot of food upstairs. All the bottles you saw, I had to clean them because everything gets dirty here, no matter what. And I'm slowly cleaning the blankets and stuff. But I'll be keeping something here. Yeah, this is the last. You eat that when you have no water, no heat, anything. But as you can see, everything, medical supplies, first aid kit, here's the advice. Never, ever bring these into a podval unless both people or everyone likes it. You have no idea. Someone almost died because of these. You ever try to sleep while someone is in the pitch black? Yes, but on the other hand, they're very calming.
Yes. Meditation.
Yes. So, as you can see, we candles, any questions you have. This was all stocked also with food. I have full tools here. And there is my daughter's floor to the house upstairs. And I built this actually after the war started, after that bomb. When, do you see the pipe? See the holes there? The stuff just fell. And I was worried. So That's in case anything falls on your head.
Did not you
Questions?
worry of being buried there?
Being buried?
Yes, there.
No. Do you understand how thick that wood is? It's 2 levels of wood, here and there. This goes like this so that it can dump into the space, okay, to guide the bricks away from that. I'm not worried about that. If a bomb hit us, a direct hit, I'm dead. There's only 2 floors, we're dead. But if a bomb just hits and bricks are coming down, that'll do it. At night, I had internet for a week. I felt guilty. I was sharing my internet with my neighbors, the one that worked here. Anyways, you have an idea. It wasn't so bad. And here we have the sink for washing your hands. Now, why would you wash your hands? Well, if you come down here, we have the luxury toilet with a cover. Yes. So after using that, then you would go there.
I missed the
What?
toilet.
And this, you know, this is Anya. She washed. Oh, you know, for men, if you don't have to take a shower, that's a luxury. Great. Hey, nobody can yell at me. But for no, she had to wash everything, everywhere, So, no, this was water, and you put it into here, and then this water goes into the bucket, which you then empty out. Okay? I'll show you. That's so. There it is. You put the candle over here.
Yes.
The candle would go there. And
Yes.
after you finish, depending on what you did, you used a little shot of this so it doesn't smell. And by the way, there's your escape exit.
Escape exit. It's
Yeah,
very
see it went down?
important
Yes,
for
yes.
shelter to have 2.
Yes. That's the only window that was not blocked off. I didn't completely block it off. Well, actually, another person, we didn't block it off. Everything else, as you can see. The other, we invited one next door to use that if they wanted to, but they had already agreed with everyone else that was here to dig a hole in the front of one of the rooms and then just cover it up. And the problem is they all left at the end of the first week. At the end of the second week, the smell was unbelievable. From the bucket, there's no smell. But finally that went. But this is it. As I say, I'm going to put food back in it, and that's it. Compared to others, it was very comfortable.
Yeah. Everything in order.
My daughter saw a picture because I took apart her playhouse to build it, and she looked, she said, "Oh, that's cool, I want to live there." So, which was nice. Anyways, that's it. And I have to continue washing the blankets. Everything I had in the house was there until Anya brought an electric blanket, which I still have. Any questions about it? Were we scared of noises? You can feel the noises when you're on the ground. You know, I built this. Do you know what a podgrab is?
No.
Underneath here is a big hole where normally you put potatoes, carrots for the winter because it's really cold. But I put a lot of my old tools and stuff there underneath. So I had to build a platform. You're welcome to try it if you want. Go ahead. Anyways, water. Thermos for standing in line. And Anya Because the brain fear, I didn't think of medical stuff, and certainly not soap and water. So, that's it. As you can see, there's my Marina still.
Yeah, yeah.
Caffeine drinks. All right. Any questions? And this was to keep cold out. This was my lifeline. And even when there was no electricity here, we got by. I had enough candles. So, and you just, it becomes a routine. You don't think about it. You
Yes.
just don't think about it.
Our life.
And then when you see how other people and what they're going through, you're saying, I felt guilty at times. We actually did treat a couple of kids to tea. Where else was I going to take? I mean, I knew I had the podval. I had it cleaned out a while, so.
There are some public and special bomb shelters in Chernihiv.
Sure, but they're not going to give me a pail to pee in. They're not going to give me private electricity. They're not going to give me internet access. I had all that in my podval.
So even when electricity off, you had internet?
No, only through my phone sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a funny thing because I have no gas in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a stove with bricks with Anya. If that's her, I'll just mention the name of the person who got trapped here. It's Anya. And I made a brick stove.
Do you have a water?
Podval.
A water? No.
About 3 days before the war, I bought 4 20-liter bottles.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 more downstairs now.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started to have a problem, I don't know if you can see them, there's 3 right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see.
Okay. And do you see all those bottles? That's, all of those bottles were full of water. Every single pot and pan was full of water.
You were prepared.
No, actually Anya did that. She filled up, it was so crazy that one time I wanted to cook, but I had nothing to cook in and nowhere to empty the water. So, but prepared, yes. And they'll be going again.
And what about
prepared.
food? Was it enough food?
Well, when you came in, just cleaning all the things, but yes, I got macaroni, rice, dry beans, Neva, I forget, the little noodle packets.
Mivina.
Mavina.
Mivina.
Mavina, and I also bought bottled beans and canned goods that you could open up, tuna fish. So, and the second day of the war, when I went to ATB, all that was left was things like salmon and all the expensive stuff. So I ate very well.
Yeah, so you weren't searching for food and...
Well, bread was a problem, but go ahead.
You looking for bread, yes? So something...
Yes, bread and I wanted to find at least something fresh. And I did, but you had to stand in lines. The fresh beets.
How long have you been standing in lines?
That's the third thing that made most of an immediate impact on the podval experience. I passed out. That's seriously. I had spent over 7 hours at one store that supposedly had everything. And they did, but 40 hryvnias from Avina, please.
40 hryvnias from
40
Avina?
Yes, they charged insane prices, and the owner, everyone knows, you know who I'm talking about. But hey, I was grateful that he brought stuff. And I had only planned for one person in the podval.
Who helped you during this time?
Well, Anya did a lot because she was a big distraction. I'm trying to maintain a routine, to proceed, and all she could think about was getting out of here, getting out of here, getting out of here. And that kind of created a tension. Although I think everybody who lived in close quarters in a podval developed tensions. You can hear couples yelling in the park, old, young, didn't matter. That was one of the observations I made.
Superpower appears.
So everyone was on edge. You know, when you're under a lot of stress, So she would be happy to tell you, I gave her someone to yell at. So.
Did you have a chance to help others?
Yes.
What did you do?
Yes. Besides giving food, money, etc. That's it.
So nice.
That's it. I went to volunteer. We had to sign a 3-year contract, etc., etc. But I didn't bring all the documents they wanted. They wanted tax code. I had my permanent residency. That doesn't matter. But my age and very, very high blood pressure. So
High blood pressure.
yeah, I don't even look at it anymore because it makes it go higher. So, and then, in a way, taking care of Anya. If it was my responsibility, and her 2 cats. She got completely paranoid that I was just going to go off. And,
without her?
Yeah. And,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the cat stayed here. But she was very helpful in many ways, organizing the water, organizing things that made me go crazy. But
have you been in touch?
Neighbors, all my neighbors were good.
All neighbors.
Yeah.
Have you been in touch with your American friends and relatives?
Yes. In fact, I even started a group on Messenger called Alive from Chernihiv. Because you may remember an American professor, apparently a professor in Чернігові, I don't know, he died. He was like 68, 69 years old in Чернігові.
In line?
I don't know where he died. He died in Чернігові.
During the war?
During this war, yes. And it was just published that an American professor was killed in Чернігові. So everybody who knew me from the States, are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? So, Alive from Чернігові, I can add you, you can look at the messages. It was light too.
How have your friends support you?
Well, when I was trying to make decisions, I had friends. I had a friend from Hungary. She offered a place. I had friends in the United States who offered to take Esther and, well, all of us in. In Israel, I had people. I had a lot of choices and a lot of friends. So were very supportive, and they all thought I was crazy for staying. A lot of my Ukrainian acquaintances thought I was crazy, but a lot of Ukrainians were just happy that I was here. They didn't question it. You know, I just would say, "Я живу здесь," and that was enough. So.
How are you recovering now?
I'm not out of the podval. Not mentally. I don't think anybody who's done that, spent that much time standing in lines, you know, lines to get your phone charged, lines for water. Your whole life was defined by lines.
Yes.
And Anya never saw a line that she didn't want to get into to see what they were showing. But it's and the nights. It was extremely cold. Cold is one of the things I remember. I still put on 2 pairs of socks most of the time. You don't get over that sense
Only
of cold.
2? I have 5. I have 5.
There you go.
5 socks and 5 horrid, different, and even a fur, everything that I have. I put.
Yeah, I just felt, oh, I'm not talking about in the podval. I mean, since I came out of the podval, I can't get warm. I still feel my hands and feet especially just feel cold all the time. I'm also not out of the podval because I'm getting ready to go to set it up. I started getting ready just in case. So, and your brain shuts a lot of things off when you're in that kind of a situation. You're not really thinking about it. I lost 10 or more percent of my body weight, but I was eating well. How did that happen?
Stress, your full body on adrenaline, and you live on this hormone. What problems do you face now?
Finding a good lawyer for my students. I told them that. All my students are lawyers. Yeah, I taught law. So they said, can we help you? I said, yes. I need a few good lawyers to sue Putin to fix my windows. Physically, I'll try to gain weight back. I'm sure I'll feel warm. Mentally, it's processing. You know, it's processing. I was paying more attention to other people and how they were dealing with it than I was to myself. I think that was my way of avoiding it. It's nice not to, it was nice for a few days not to get woken up by bombs. You know, when it first stopped, I woke up. I even wrote to my students. The quiet woke me up because there was no bombing. It was weird. And then I saw someone else who had the same experience. Now, of course, I've got the sirens going on all the time, as you do, and I just ignore them.
Can you sleep now, or it's still a bad dream?
I have an electric blanket. I sleep well up here. I'm being facetious. No, I go to sleep at odd hours, and I think that's because in the podval, especially when there's no electricity, you never know what time it was. You know, you open your eyes, you don't know if it's morning, night, all the windows, everything's blocked, it's just pitch dark. So your sleeping schedule gets off a little bit, and maybe just tension.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Sometimes people behave in a line so like an asshole, you know, like an asshole, and you...
Some do, and others are incredibly good.
Yes.
For example, how about when the volunteers would cut in front of the line?
Yeah.
And people would say, yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead.
yes. As for volunteers, yes, no question. But that's for some
Oh, yes.
Some special creatures, and you really have.
You mean the ones who sent someone ahead early, who then, when she's about 10 minutes or 5 minutes away from getting to the store, calls them up, and all of a sudden we all see 20 people come.
Yes.
They haven't been standing there all day.
Yes, and some different stories,
Yes.
and you, what to do, just to quarrel, or just to...
But that's the stress I was talking about.
Yes, to let it go, what to do.
They shared, they gave me keys to, you asked about food, but it became an activity in itself. Like, yes, because okay, I have food for today, I have food maybe, but suppose, and you just had that fear, like, why did I buy all of that? No.
Yes, and sometimes this game, really, a game of surviving, nightmare, even not.
Yeah, but you don't know it's a nightmare all the time. There are moments when you do know, but much of the time, it just becomes normal. That's what's so scary about it. It just becomes like almost normal.
So, give some advices how to survive in a blocked city.
I can't. You have to want to be there. People have a reaction. Either they want to run away from intense emotional stress, or they want to fight it. And when we go to the podval, I'll show you examples of that from my neighbors. What advice? If you can stay calm, stay calm. My advice is find some someone else who needs some assistance. Even little things.
It's a really good advice.
Even little things. Because if you're worrying about someone else, you feel like you're in a good position.
Yes,
like I worried about Anya constantly, which she thought was stupid. But she was terrified all the time. So that, like I said, was a good thing she did. She did also was very helpful. Focus on someone else if you can. Don't sit around thinking, oh, woe is me, the world is ending. Right now, it's important for Ukraine to realize that we are fighting a madman. He has a dream of empire. The war will not be over until he is dead. It's that simple. We may finish the current conflict, the ceasefire, and I suspect that will happen, so he can consolidate his power before someone of his own people shoots him. But until he's dead, Ukraine has to watch. And that is kind of tragic. But you got a great president. You know, he became his role. He was elected because he was this cool president who didn't take, and he actually, the role, he assumed it. And he did really well. And Poroshenko didn't have the choice. He couldn't say, we will not negotiate, even though people criticized him for it. He had no choice. He had Germany and France pushing him to accept the negotiation, and he had an army that wasn't an army, that was full of corruption, wouldn't fight. The people who were fighting were the paid people. So he was in a completely different position. Poroshenko did what he had to do. Zelensky, he's in a different position. He's got an incredible assistance now from the West, which is finally saying, well, okay, we'll let the Ukrainians pay in their blood for this equipment to save themselves. They're waking up a little bit. I'm glad of that, at least. And Ukrainian troops, I'm telling you.
How much are you afraid of second invasions?
You mean here in Chernihiv?
Yeah.
I expect it. Why do you think I washed the bottles and I'm stocking up and buying? Everything depends on Donbass. It depends on two things. One is how we do. If we inflict, as I am very hopeful we are going to do, a decisive defeat, I'm sad for all the people who are going to die, but if we do that, then we're not going to have an invasion here. Belarusia is not going to get involved. They won't come back. Although Putin may bomb the hell out of Chernihiv just for revenge.
Yes.
That's something I expect. And if Putin does conquer the Donbass, then he's definitely coming back here. It's not a question. He did not go in here just for the waterway. So if he conquers the Donbass, he may sue for peace. Say, oh, I got everything I wanted now. I got rid of the Nazis. You understand? He's just going to say, well, our main purpose is protecting these Russian-speaking areas, these independent republics. No. That's bull. He's not going to be that close to Kiev and not take it. So, we have no choice. Putin has lost the war. Putin has lost the Russian world. And if he continues the way he's going, he will risk destroying the world rather than admitting his dream has destroyed Russia.
Are you afraid of red button that Putin will push the red button?
That's one of the reasons I think he's going to be killed by his own military. I think he will reach for that button.
Reach?
Yeah, reach. He will reach for it, but I don't think he will push it. And you know what? If he is willing to push it, nothing we could do differently would change that. I think the West is starting to wake up to that because they're openly saying, you know, this guy is just crazy enough to do it. He once said, not long ago, a year and a half ago, Putin said, a world without Russia is inconceivable. In his mind, Russia is all the way to the Baltics. So, it's going to be up to the Russian people, the Russian military in particular. The Russian people are in denial. They don't know anything because they don't want to.
You will be still here in Chernihiv.
Well, if I don't get run over by a car or something else, you know, I can walk outside, a brick can fall on my head. And I'm old, you know. 70 years old is not a kid anymore. So I'm ready. But yeah, I'm going to stay here. Where else would I go? You know, I need to use the bathroom every 5 minutes. It's terrible. That was the real reason I stayed in Chernihiv. Have I been here 5 minutes yet?
Yeah, we can stop.
No, I mean, the bathroom. Especially conflicted people here. The young guys. I get angry at the young guys.
Why?
Young Ukrainians
Why?
who aren't serving in any capacity. They piss me off.
Why?
It's their country. Why aren't they? It's their brothers, sisters, families. Why aren't they? And this, by the way, unfortunately, I had one student who wrote to me. Now, when I say student, you realize that someone probably older than you. He's in his 30s. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like apologized. He said, he ran right away. He said, I don't know why, but maybe I'm a coward. I have to accept I'm a coward. But I'm doing everything I can from here to help Ukraine. So I can respect that. You know, people have a reaction instinct, okay. I have others, though, who got upset because I stayed. Mm-hmm. And they ran, and that kind of bothers me, you know. Financially, the damage is not too bad, but of course I had to support a lot. I helped my daughter's relatives. You know, it's kind of funny, I'm very friendly with, you know, my ex-mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. She's not accustomed to that. She said, usually Ukrainian men, when they get divorced, they disappear. I don't know. You know, I want the war to be over before I think about planning. If I were younger, I would serve. But I don't know. I want my daughter to come back very much. That's been the hardest thing. She knows there's a war going on. One time, there's some other children where she's living, and we're talking, and she said, wait a minute, Papa. And I said, what happened? She said, I have to go in the other room because I don't want to say the word bomb in front of the other children. They get scared. She's 7 years old. You know, she's listening to the adults. She knows. She keeps trying to make me smile. And there's something wrong with that. I should be making her smile. She shouldn't feel that she has to make me smile because I'm in a bad situation. You understand?
Yes.
But she listens to the other people. So it's going to affect children almost no matter what. You know. Well, we have a very close relationship. Like that, she was here all the time.